Hello there, fellow Dazzlers and New Players alike. Razzle Joestar here, taking you through the gates of time as we take a look at another arcade game, or in this case, we're taking a look at a port. Debated on doing ports for a while, and why not start with this one? Bloody Roar 2, the new breed for the PlayStation 1. Yes, this was actually an arcade game before it was a PS1 game. But enough about that. Why should you play this game? Well, simple. If you're a furry, animal characters, yay! But if you're not a furry, why should you play this game? Because the action in it is actually kind of cool. Now, full disclosure, I am a bit of a casual when it comes to fighting games. I hardly ever play fighting games against other people. But when it comes to just playing games by myself in general, it's fun. I feel like I could take any character on the roster and kind of just randomly push buttons, just be like, and come up with something. Some move comes out, and I'm like, oh cool, I can work that in. Of course, there is a move list which you can find in the instruction manual, or you can just go look it up online. That works too. And each character kind of, while they do kind of play the same in terms of special move inputs and things like that, each character kind of does feel like they have their own style, which is always neat in a fighting game. And I feel like there's a reason to pick, Buckaroo the Mole over Shinna the Leopard, or Buzuzuma over Jenny, outside of just looks and what animal they turn into. Speaking of animal, that's kind of the main gimmick of this game, is the ability of each character in the roster to turn into an animal form, which expands the move list. So it's more than just the power-up and some regenerating health. You now get to use the circle button to do beast mode specific normals and specials, and you gain access to a super move too that in the PS1 version you can just push L1 to use. So that's kind of cool. Again, if you're a casual like me, or you have some friends that don't really know fighting games and they want to just let off a special, they can do that. And then you've got a pretty good sounding game. The soundtrack in this game is great. There's actually two soundtracks. You have a rock soundtrack that is the default, at least for the US version, and then you have a access to the arcade soundtrack that you can activate in the options menu, which I think is pretty cool and is a neat little addition. One of the little things that they didn't have to do, but did anyways. Appreciate that. Other things the PS1 version gives you is, of course, your standard survival mode. You've got a custom mode that has different settings like turning on an after image mode or the practice mode. And then you have a story mode, which unlike another game, doesn't make you play as every single character you may or may not care about, and turns the characters into jobbers when you're not playing as them. Each character, you kind of go through the little story arc and their struggles in the world of Bloody Roar 2, which involves the Zoanthropes, which is people that can turn into animal characters, a terrorist organization claiming to be a liberation front from them, and then, of course, between all this, you've got the humans trying to figure out how to deal with these animal people that are rising. Might not be the most gripping story, but at the time, you didn't really get this a lot, I felt like. I think the most you got was ending if you got through the game with the characters. So having an opportunity to kind of get a handle on who these characters are and what they're like, I think it's pretty freaking cool. But regardless of story, concept, or the presence of furry-based characters, the game's only as good as its actual gameplay, in my opinion. It's kind of like eating food, right? It might look good, but as the Demon Chef would say, taste is king. So how does this game taste? Pretty freaking good, actually. And again, I am a casual, I'm not a super expert god tier fighting game player, so I'm kind of looking at this more of a general lens, I guess you could say. But the gameplay is fast, brisk, fun. Again, sounds freaking cool too, with a neat echo effect and rockin' or synth heavy soundtrack. And it feels like you could pick up any character and start playing around with them for a little bit and get a bit of a handle on how to play as them. It doesn't feel like the game is too difficult as well. It feels like the difficulty kind of ramps up fairly, so it's not like you're going from, okay, I can beat these guys, to all of a sudden the AI is going all Mortal Kombat 2 on you. Feels like you've got a bit of a fair climb up there before you have to deal with a more difficult computer opponent. And just seeing all the different beast types and how they try to incorporate what animal a character turns into is pretty neat too. And there's characters you don't really see a lot of, like you've got an insect even, you have a chameleon, you've got a bat, you've got a half beast who only turns into a partial beast. So that's pretty cool in that regard too, because come on, how many for furries in the audience there, how many of you see insect type characters, really? Alright, we got it in this game. We have more insects out there. Anyways. There's a few cool things, too, you get with the PS1 version. A couple last-minute features I want to talk about. First of all, memory cards, so you can save your progress, because there are 2 unlockable characters. You can unlock Gato by clearing story mode with any character, and Shenlong by 1 credit clearing the arcade mode. And then the story mode has like these little still image talking pictures that you can get and unlock as you complete story mode with each character. So a way to save progress, but also too, if you go to options, it keeps track of character data. So of course you've got the high score table, but then also you have tables that keep track of how many times each character plays, the win-loss ratio against not just the computer, but also against human players, and even a matchup table that keeps track of data when you play versus mode, that is playing against another human player. So that's pretty cool too. Again, they didn't have to do that, but they did. Okay, I don't know if modern day fighting games do this kind of thing. I don't know. But if they don't, you need to get on that, alright? Get on the data. Because I love me some data. Just ask me about my Fortune Street spreadsheet sometime. Another thing to check out, too, is there are a couple of different dub ROM hacks I've become aware of. There's an undubbed version that takes the US voices and replaces them with the original Japanese voices, and then you have a redub that actually does all new voices. Definitely something we're going to check out, and may or may not feature those on the channel. That just depends. If you guys want more Bloody Roar 2 stuff, definitely going to do it. But I think I've got on a bit long enough about this game here, so should you play this? Definitely yes. If you like fighting games, if you like arcade games, if you like what feel like easy to pick up arcade games with a bit of depth to it, or you just like beating people up as a giant anthropomorphic animal, definitely check it out. And as always, my name is Razzle Joestar. Thank you guys for tuning in, and keep on morphing.
Get ready. Fight!